Righty! Now, before I start, I've been told to point out that there is a subscribe button somewhere on the bottom of the screen, and it would be grateful if you could hit that subscribe button, because seemingly that's important. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, that'd be very grateful too. So that's that bit over. Now, interesting week. Sometimes things roll forward. And because last week I was talking about Permatan Paisley, Ian Jr., and this is what I said about Permatan last week. You know where you stand in the DUP, right? You know where you stand by where you are in the pictures outside the assembly when they're doing a wee statement. Have a look at this. Can you spot Ian? Can you spot him? That's where Ian is. Ian couldn't be any further back if he'd stayed in Sri Lanka. Ooh, I think Ian must have seen that, because a couple of days later he jumped straight onto TV to validate his existence by holding court about the possibilities of the Assembly returning or not returning, even though it's not up to Ian what does or does not return. This is what Ian had to say.
It could be an ice age away, he's got to grasp these issues quite quickly.
It could be an ice age before the Assembly returns. Now, I have read the good book. I have read the good book from cover to cover, and nowhere within those pages have I read of an ice age. I have read of pestilence, I have read of the Great Flood, but no ice age. Where does Ian get the ice age from? That's a side point. Here's the point, nobody talks about this much, but what's going on is the long-standing war within the DUP. You've always had two big parties. You've had the Robinsons and you've had the Paisleys, and they've been fighting it out now for generations. And for a long time, when Papa Doc was there, the real Paisley, yes, when he was there, the Australians, he was the Paisleys. But then Peter came up and he dethroned Papa Doc. Ooh, dethroned him, and now the Robinsons are... No. Then you had Irisgate. Oh, the Paisleys loved that. They're back up in the ascendancy. But no, Peter, the great strategist, he was able to get back in by placing Arlene up, and Arlene's there. Oh, RHI, and now they're all... And this is what's been going on. This yo-yoing between them two sections of what was once described as one big happy family. No, it's like every other family. It's dysfunctional. And it's got little to do with Brexit, little to do with the protocol. It's to do with the DUP and who's going to be in charge. Because by rights, of course, the child should have got it. Now, Permatan should have got the role. But there's a problem with Permatan. The child's a fool. So this is what's going to be rolling on. And while they fight out their internal disputes, we're all going to starve. Happy days. Talking about people being up and down. Joe Biden's down again. Oh, he's going down more often than a toddler. Joe's tripping up more often than a toddler. And this time, he was at an army or a navy passing out ceremony. And, this is what happened. Ooh! He's all right. Thank God Joe's all right. But do you know the bit that I found touching? Doesn't matter where you're president of the United States or an ordinary whatever like us. Do you see when he tripped? The first thing, human nature, the first thing he did was he pointed at the culprit. That's what we do. You see if you're out in the street and you trip and there's people around, you always turn around, don't you, and look at where you tripped and blame. Oh, there's something wrong with that pavement. Hey, somebody's going to, that's dangerous. Somebody's going to, and Joe did that. Joe pointed. And he seemingly was undone by a sandbag, which had been placed there to trip him. And no. The problem is Joe is still doing the octogenarian run. To sort of look vigorous, Joe does. You ever see him winding up when he gets ready to go? And then that's what he did in this. He wound up, he got ready to go, and he went in his arse. For God's sake, will somebody in America stop it? Stop it! The man's 80 years old. Will somebody intervene for the good of the whole world? Because you see if Joe goes down, he breaks his hip. He gets back in. Trump the dump gets back in, and then we're all stuffed. So if the US consul here, Mr. Kennedy, if you are watching this, will you, in the name of God, will you just tell them to stop the president jogging? Let him walk. Let him walk very slowly, because we need him vertical for the good of humanity. The only way to start this, is to do it the way the American movies would do the introduction to their movie, right? It'd be like, Martin Scorsese brings you Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver. Belfast brings you. I will do your kneecaps, son. I have your... Are you listening to me, son? I will have your kneecaps. Nowhere else in the world. It's one of the most famous videos now knocking about. And now to give the company, the taxi company concerned, they immediately jumped online and informed us that they had sacked the individual concerned. What else are you going to do? What else are they going to do? Were they going to call him in for a dressing down? Here, come here. Sit down now. Hold on here now. You've been warned before. This is not the first time. And I'm telling you now, we cannot have our taxi drivers going around pistol whipping the passengers. I know they're a hole, no. I know they're a pain in the hole. We all know they're a pain in the hole. You can't be slapping them in the mouth with a revolver. I'm giving you a written warning. This is the final written warning I am giving you on this subject. Sack them. Oh. Did you see the size of the gun? The gun was the size of a cannon. He's waving that around, driving a taxi through Belfast. Oh, he could have been caught. If you're caught with a mobile phone in your hand, you get 6 points and a £200 fine. What sort of points would he get? His grandkids would have been working off his points. Now, the reason is that seemingly it was a wee bit of a messing around between the whole three guys. They're messing around in the taxi, having a wee bit of fun, and everybody knew what was going on. And nobody knows what that could be true. That could be true. Nobody knows. Personally, I would have went to the Michael Stone defence. And Mickey Stone, when he stormed It. Mickey came around and says, it was performance art. That would have been good. The one I would have used, right, if it had been me, I would have said, listen, hold on. This is a cutting-edge form of drug aversion therapy. That's what this is. It's drug aversion therapy, right? You get the smackhead in the taxi, and then you smack him in the head with a revolver. Stop taking drugs, son. Stop taking drugs. They're bad. You're watching me. You're listening to me. Stop taking drugs. They're bad for you. That's what I would have used myself. But only here. Now, here's an indication of how far we are away from being a normal society. You understand? Because the guy who showed me that video or clip online, because I'm not very good with that stuff. Oh, Jake, look at that. So we watched the clip, and then your man, with great gravitas and authority, informed me, Jake, that's a Desert Eagle out there, but it's not legit. That gun's not legit. Because the slide on it isn't operational, Jake, and I think it's an airsoft revolver, it's not a real thing. I just went, oh, really interesting. Oh. I did not ask him where he had learned his expertise with handguns. I did not want to know. So that's where we are. That's where we are right now. And it's a whole new end to taxi drivers, isn't it? Belfast taxi drivers will never be the same. If you are a tourist visiting Belfast, my advice is make sure to tip your taxi driver, because you don't want to hand him 50p and him go, yeah, what? Yeah, son, are you listening to me? 50p? Do better than that, son. You need to do better than that. And it's going to be different. See when you get in a taxi on a Friday night, you have cut and you're coming home. That old awkward silence you get with taxi drivers. You try to fill the silence with that stupid question, Thomas, are you on the death, big man? That's all over. You'll be getting in taxis now going, show us your gun, go on, what gun have you got? Show us what sort of gun you got. Go on, Paul, what sort of gun have you got?
That's all, folks.